Microsoft completely confused. The new Xbox problem.
Is it true that Microsoft's own employees are turning on Xbox? What's up, y'all? I'm Ray, and this is my channel,
What's up, Ray?
Xbox Ready, where we get together and talk Xbox stuff, the latest news, rumors, pretty much anything I want to talk about as long as it's about Xbox in some way. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about a couple of things, the first of which being some confusion going on internally at Microsoft over the direction that they are taking Xbox. Now, in the year 2024, Xbox has made a lot of decisions that have raised some eyebrows, have drawn a lot of criticism, putting their games onto other people's hardware, shutting down beloved studios, firing a bunch of people, raising the price of Game Pass, and changing what's included in what tier. It's a shame because in this same year, yes, we've gotten a lot of bad news.
Destroying their biggest franchises of all time by doing nothing with them, basically.
But they also had a killer showcase that hyped old and new fans up, that made them excited about the future of Xbox. If only they could do a showcase every week. If you're out there feeling confused, apparently rumor has it that you are not alone. Microsoft own employees are also confused as well, at least according to Ecstasis, a YouTuber, journalist, insider, leaker. Ecstasis recently put out a video talking about these strategy shifts, these different changes that we're seeing at Xbox. He talks about some other stuff too in this video, what he's heard about the Switch 2, how there's going to be two different models, but obviously we're going to be focusing on the Xbox stuff, of course. It's actually a great watch. I really like his presentation style, so if you want to look him up, it's Ecstasis with the I is a 1 instead. He's otherwise known as the fake Xbox insider. In the video, he alleges that he's talked to several Microsoft employees and that the majority of them are generally just confused on the direction of the company. He put out this tweet.
They probably asked an AI what they should do with their company because they're failing.
To basically promote.
Probably an AI that they built.
The video where he says gran confusión dentro de Xbox. Yes, Ecstasis is a Spanish-speaking content creator, and if you don't understand Spanish, if you are not fluent yourself, don't worry, people have already translated what his tweet means. He says, according to several Xbox employees, the internal situation is quite complex between the layoffs and changes they have made in recent months. Most employees I have spoken to are completely confused about Xbox's overall strategy. The recent layoffs at Xbox and Activision have even impacted the Call of Duty and Warzone mobile teams, who have not met revenue expectations. The company's new goal is clear: move its subscriber numbers on Game Pass and consoles, which are currently stagnant. Now, if you're sitting there wondering who this Ecstasis person is, we've talked about him previously on the channel before. He has a pretty decent track record of knowing what games are coming to Game Pass and when certain Xbox games are going to be released. He somehow managed to get pictures of the all-white digital Series X before anyone else, and he did accurately predict that they were going to show it off at the June showcase. But he also got me in a little bit of trouble because he came out with this whole story where he was like, yeah, I talked to these people at Game Science, or a developer at Game Science, and they said that there's no Xbox version because they can't optimize the game because of a memory leak issue. And then just a couple of days after that, a new story came out, a new rumor corroborated by The Verge and all sorts of really big news outlets, saying that no, it's not because of a memory leak issue that there's no Black Myth Wukong on Xbox. It's because Black Myth is tied up in an exclusivity deal with PlayStation. He's obviously being very vague on who exactly he's talking to within the Microsoft organization. I can only speak to my personal experience as a content creator. I know a few people who work for Xbox, who work for Microsoft. When I first met them, our relationship was obviously professional, but as time has gone on, I really consider some of these.
I actually think that the exclusivity deal with Black Myth Wukong and PlayStation is probably going to be really, really good for Black Myth Wukong and whatever that company was that made Black Myth Wukong, because it's going to get popular again. Xbox players going to realize, oh, this is Game of the Year for last year. This is a year later. But this was Game of the Year. And then it's going to attract people on PC and PlayStation that didn't buy it yet. They're going to be like, oh, people are playing this game again. Or people missed it and they're just going to try it out again. It's going to be good. It was a good game. I haven't played it, but plan to.
people I've met through being a content creator who work at Xbox, I would consider them to be friends, people that I would hit up and chat with and hang out with. But even with that feeling, there is no way in hell that I would be talking to these people and they would be saying stuff like, yeah, Xbox's strategy so confusing, I don't entirely agree with it, what's going on? Never in a million years would they tell me, a YouTuber, stuff like that. This video is brought to you by Manscaped. That is right, I am once again teaming up with Manscaped, the brand that over 10 million men across the world have entrusted their grooming needs to, including myself. And just when I thought that my personal Manscaped arsenal couldn't get any better, they went and gave me the upgrade I never knew I needed. The Lawnmower 5.0. Now, Ray, what? You've talked about the Lawnmower 5.0 before. How can you improve? How can you upgrade what is already a top-tier male grooming experience? Well, for one, you can make it look 10 times cooler. That is right. Manscaped went and dropped legendary loot on us, y'all, and they made it gold. This is the limited edition Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra Gold. It features all of the same tech that we've come to know and love from Manscaped's lawnmower products. Longer, wider, and rounded teeth on the trimmer blade, so you can get through really manly, super easy, but also smoothly. And just like the regular Lawnmower 5.0, you can pop the blade off and put on the foil blade for an even closer shave. It's got an LED light, so you can do your shaving in the dark. You have the travel lock, so you can make sure that it doesn't go off on your luggage and cause a scene. I'm a simple man. I see gold, I see shiny, and I like it. So if you want to level up your grooming game all the way to the gold tier, you can go on over to manscaped.com and use my code XboxReady for 20% off and free international shipping. This is a limited run, so it's going to be a collector's item at some point. Thanks again to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. You have to understand that people who are actively working on Xbox games or their other projects, they're tied up in a million NDAs, which if they break, they could face severe consequences. And that's why when you hear your favorite insiders or YouTubers or content creators, when you hear them talk about, oh, I know someone at X Studio or X...
That's why I hate making deals. If I ever make any content like this, it's going out for free. Because I don't want to make any deals. If people want to pay me money for it, they can just send me some money, however much they want. Which, by the way, if you want to send me some money, I got a PayPal down in the description.
Publisher, and this is what they have to say. 99% of the time, they will not mention a name. They will be intentionally super vague about it. So maybe, yes, Xtasis did talk to several Microsoft employees about Xbox's strategy. But what exactly those Microsoft employees do, what they contribute to Xbox, if anything, how much they know personally, it remains up in the air. In my experience, maybe it's just like that because the majority of the people I know that work at Xbox are either developers or they are PR people. What Xtasis is saying, though, really isn't that much of a stretch. Chances are, if you are working for Microsoft, especially in their gaming division, you probably have a lot of anxiety right now because you're going to bed every night wondering if you're going to wake up and have a job in the morning. And that seems to be a general shared feeling between people who are working as developers or working in games at all. Microsoft is laying off a bunch of people in their gaming division. Sure, there's a bunch of people in the games industry that's doing the same thing, but with Microsoft, it seems like they're doing it every couple of months. And in regards,
I had no idea Perfect Dark was coming out.
The same thing, but with
Fable has an uglified character.
Microsoft, it seems like they're doing it every...
Perfect Dark, uglified character. This looks like like a non-binary person. I don't even want to say it. You see how hard it was for me to say non-binary?
Couple of months. And in regards to what he's saying about pushing Game Pass, making it a priority, growing the numbers because it's stagnant, well, we know to some degree that's also true. The Wall Street Journal recently just did a new video saying that the console wars are over, but Xbox is continuing to refine things and change the games industry. And in the video, they used data where they showed that Xbox Series X and S sales are well below half of the total sales for PS5. They're even lower at this point than they were in the Xbox One generation. And they also cover how Game Pass subscriptions have plateaued, especially on the console side. They painfully remind us that in 2022, they had a target growth rate of 73% for Game Pass and only managed about 28%. So yes, while there's a lot of cool stuff and a lot of areas of growth for Xbox, a lot of potential, still a lot of question marks. And even if you can't technically say anything as an employee, doesn't mean you're also not thinking it. Now, whether or not what Extasis is saying is true and there's inner turmoil going on at Microsoft and Xbox, there's anxiety, even if it's not true, it doesn't take away from the fact that a lot of people are genuinely confused about what Xbox is doing right now and what their goals are. A lot of people were under the assumption that Indiana Jones was going to be an Xbox exclusive, only for them to turn around and say, oh no, there's going to be a PlayStation 5 version as well. They have made the commitment, at least through next generation, to have Xbox consoles, to have hardware. And then they go on this whole marketing campaign of like, oh, play Xbox games without a console. This is our new big.
They just added, not just, but like within the past couple years, added Game Pass and the Xbox Game Hub to Samsung TVs. I have Xbox on my TV, and it works just as well as the Xbox in my roommate's bedroom. That's why I'm saying I think that it's going the way of streaming. I think that Xbox is not going to be around much longer. There might be an Xbox, but it's going to be a low-powered system that is probably going to be streaming your graphics from the internet or using AI.
Thing with the Amazon Fire Stick. I do personally think that Xbox needs to be more transparent with us, more straight up with us. And to a certain degree, I think they're trying to do that to the best of their ability. But every time they come out, it's always some variation of a certain phrase that they have just absolutely loved over the past couple of years. Oh, everything that we do is to ensure the future success of Xbox, or to ensure future growth of Xbox, to continue to be able to provide great experiences. And while that's all well and good, the specifics on like which game is going to PlayStation and which game is staying.
Am I the only one who thinks that Indiana Jones does not look good? Because I think he kind of looks like he's moving like this. You know? Let's see that again.
Well and good, the specifics on like which game is going to PlayStation and which game is staying exclusive.
Yeah, you see that?
Sometimes they do
How it's like almost like his hand has a path.
a little dancey dance around those kind of questions. I will commend them on being transparent and active and trying to solve an issue that players have been running into over the past couple of weeks since the August update. After the August update rolled out, there was a couple of issues. Some people weren't able to play games online. Some people would put in backwards compatible supported discs from Xbox One or the 360, and they were getting an error message saying this content couldn't be retrieved at this point. As part of a recent insider update, they did acknowledge that there was a problem and that there was a fix for the issue. But people are still running into that same icon, that little disc that says this content can't be retrieved. So I can only assume that this fix that they're referring to in these patch notes hasn't been.
I know a fix. It's called buy a modded Xbox, and you have every game ever made for the Xbox 360 and the Xbox, and you don't have to worry about backwards compatibility issues because that shit's been patched. Not by Microsoft.
Rolled out to everyone yet. This is a problem that developer Oscar K acknowledged on Reset Era. A couple weeks ago, he said, update, we have identified the issue. It is a UX regression in the August update that causes disks with minimal metadata, such as 360 disks, to accidentally throw an exception and be treated as unsupported disks. The underlying installation, activation, and licensing systems are unaffected, so there are a couple of workarounds. If you're still having this issue, here are those workarounds. Enabling autoplay, going to your settings, finding the disk section, and making sure autoplay is checked. You can also apparently push the install from the Xbox mobile app. I'm gonna be real with y'all, neither of these fixes worked for me. I talked about in a previous video that my 360 copies of Skyrim and also Battlefield 4 weren't supported for some reason, even though they are backwards compatible in that library. I was hoping that these fixes would solve the issue for me, but they didn't. It's not the end of the world because, well, I do still have my 360. I can easily play them on there, but it looks.
You can also mod your Xbox, and you don't have to worry about it. You get everything.
looks like I'm gonna have to give up on the dream.
These companies are garbage because they can do these things. They're just super greedy. They're just evil and greedy. And you have to do it yourself.
Of using those discs on my Series X. In other news, Overwatch 2 is coming to Game Pass, and I know that is very confusing because, well, Overwatch 2 is free to play. You do not need a Game Pass subscription to play Overwatch 2.
But now it's in the library and people can see it in the library that they go to. Most people that I know that use Game Pass barely go to the Microsoft Store to see the other free games that are on the Microsoft Store.
So what's it doing in the catalog? Well, Blizzard made an announcement that if you are a Game Pass subscriber and you link your Xbox and your Battle.net accounts, then starting on September 17th, you'll get access to all sorts of new skins and cosmetics and a bunch of prisms, which you can then use to buy more skins and other cosmetics. Specifically, you'll get Cardboard Reinhardt, Turtle Ship Diva, Cyber Dragon Hanzo, Street Runner Genji, Bee Mercy, and Cleric Lifeweaver. You'll also get access to any Overwatch 2 shop cosmetics from the past 3 seasons. And finally, you'll also get a 10% experience boost to help with your progression if you've been out of the game for a while or you've never tried it. Now, I know Overwatch 2 people have mixed feelings about it, especially since it became Overwatch 2. I'm in the camp of people where, I don't think it was a great move to just completely delete Overwatch 1 from existence and replace it with Overwatch 2. I also do find myself missing 6v6.
Never played it, not my thing. I'm probably never gonna play it. Seems gay. It looks gay. It's got that gay look to it that everybody tries to copy.
Versus the 5v5 we have now. If you want to play any of the cool, fun DPS characters, the queuing system can be a nightmare too. But even so, Overwatch holds a special place in my heart still.
By the way, if you don't know me, and you hear me say that I don't like gay stuff, it is the pandering stuff, the pandering to gays that I don't like. Gay people and gay people's stuff, fine. It's fine with me. I even love that stuff. It's just literally when companies pander that I do not like it.
This was my game back in like 2017, 2018. And even now when I play it, I may not be up to date on the current meta and the best characters and all that, but I still do have fun. And even when games come out that are supposed to be an Overwatch killer, people still choose to play Overwatch. I mean, that's a common thing that happens with these popular live service games. People have a love-hate relationship with them. And it is cool that we are seeing additional perks from this Activision Blizzard acquisition as Game Pass subscribers. Finally, I'll end the video with something that you may or may not care about, depending on whether or not you like games published by Annapurna Interactive. These are the guys behind 12 Minutes, Stray, The Artful Escape, Outer Wilds, Neon White, another really awesome game. A lot of their games have appeared on Game Pass. That's how I tried them out. And while they may not be for everyone, a lot of their games I really enjoyed. That's why I was sad to hear that every single employee that worked at Annapurna Interactive, including their president, resigned. They just walked out. Apparently they were trying to negotiate so they could break off from their parent company and just be an independent studio. And when negotiations went south, they were like, you know what? It, we're just gonna leave. Annapurna will retain the rights to all of those games, and this collaboration that they're currently doing with Remedy, apparently this walkout is not gonna affect anything going on with Alan Wake or Control. A spokesperson has already shared some details about that. They said Remedy's deal for Control 2, including Alan Wake and Control AV rights, is with Annapurna Pictures, and we are self-publishing Control 2. This is crazy to me. Number one, because, well, I do like their games. Number two, as we've discussed on the channel before, this is a very dangerous time to be working in games. People are losing their jobs left and right. Microsoft just fired 650 people. So it's just wild to me that people would just up and leave their job in an environment where people would be begging for a job like that. Now, of course, I don't know the details of what went on, why people walked out, and if the working conditions were really truly that terrible, then by all means, don't take that shit and quit your job, walk out. Now, I'm really interested to hear more details about what exactly happened, because that has got to be the most extreme response that you could possibly have. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff I have to talk about today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready. If you made it this far into the video, consider subscribing. Help me on my journey to 200,000 subs. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
I like Xbox Ready. I'm subscribed to him, just not on this channel. Decided to subscribe to him. Subscribe to this guy, give him a like. This guy's awesome. I love this channel. You'd think that it'd be about like he'd be an Xbox shill because it's Xbox Ready, but he's not. He bitches about Xbox a lot, and I like it. And I don't see Xbox being around in 15, 20 years. At least not in the same way that they are now. I don't see Microsoft being a giant leading company the way they are now in 15, 20 years. I think that they're gonna lose. I think they're gonna lose to better operating systems, better companies that are doing the exact same things that they are, just not evil or as evil. Hey man, I have a live show I do every weekday morning. I film all these reactions during that live show. And later in the day I do gaming videos, but every morning, 8 a.m., 7 a.m. Central Time. I'm Central Time. But for a lot of people that are going to be watching this, it's going to be 8 a.m. Some of them 6 a.m. Some of them going to be even different times than that. I got people all over the world watching this. If you want to support me, I got a PayPal down there in the description.